All right. So, what are we talking about today? Lasting solutions. Now that we have looked at many ways to become happy, and still now a good percentage of us are unhappy because of what we heard last night, we're going to talk about happiness to next level. What is the real solution of life? Are you ready to next slide? So, real problems of life, because we have problem every day, but then what are real problems? Temporary solutions, science, technology, medicine, H1. Then permanent solution, Vedic system, right? Okay, so let's go with the real problems of life. So, for something to qualify for a real problem of life, so for example, very crude example, but if I have a dental problem, it is a good news for the dentist, right? Business. If my umbrella leaks, for the umbrella guy fixing that, it's a solution, right? If death is our problem, for the insurance agent, it is a solution. Because if people stop dying, nobody will buy the insurance. So do you see that? Are you sharing slide on the Zoom? So that means one person's problem is second person's solution is not a real problem of life because we have to first then have definition of real problems of life. Do we agree? So let's have a common definition for that. Next. For a problem to be a real problem. So for example, somebody say poverty is a problem. Well, somebody may never be poor, right? So they may not face the poverty problems like Ambani's or uh, billionaires, born billionaires. They may not ever face a poverty problem. They may not ever face a hunger problem. So it is very hard to say that this is problem to all. So for a problem, next room. So for a problem to be all, it must be common to all. Yes, please come in. It must be common to all. That means one person rich, one person poor cannot be a problem. Hunger cannot be a problem. So nobody wants it and nobody can avoid it. So nobody wants it, nobody can avoid it. These are the three criterias. Unless you have studied this syllabus again, if you have, then hold back your answers. I want people who are looking at this question first time to search for the answers. So we can start our lunch early if you give correct answers. And there is a hint also. There are four real problems of life. So give me first problem that is in life that is fitting the criteria. And this is a very smart crowd, so it's very easy. Death, give a big hand. We are a block closer to the lunch. Okay. And then you said something. Health is disease. Okay, Bodhi, give her a big hand. We're two blocks closer to lunchtime. Okay, just two more. Old age. Old age. Wow. Have you attended this already? No? I'm big on my old age. So, yes, old age, amazing. Okay, now we're left with only one. Where does it all start? There you go. Next. How come sorry? Yeah, I knew it first, but I thought it is not fitting all three. Birth, death, old age, and disease are the four problems of life. One who can perceive birth, death, old age, and disease as real problems of life is in knowledge. This is real knowledge. Bhagavad Gita. Huh? So now let's talk about why birth is a problem. That is one thing. So we'll go deeper into each one of them. Why birth is a problem? Would you like to be in this situation? We'll take a gunny bag or that drum or whatever, put you for 9 months in it. Chalega? Worms, germs, no social media. Can you imagine life without social media? We have Ekadashi fasting and all that. Try to keep phone away for one day. You like, you know, as if a body organ is not there. And then, yeah, keep going. So, when the mother goes through traumas, the baby also goes through traumas mental, physical, chemical, and then hungry worms in the abdominal cavity torment the child. and child is passing the stool and urine in the same spot. Who wants to be in that situation for 9 hours actually? The answer is no. How about 9 days? We're stuck like that for 9 months. And even the process of birth itself is like, mother is trying to apply the pressure, she is crying, shouting. Arey, birthday we celebrate like very happy time, but the process of birth is extreme agony, risking life of mother, risking the life of baby also. How traumatic it is. And the moment child is born, the child doesn't cry. What does the doctor do? Pick up the baby with feet holding, hop, hop. Why? Because this is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. When the Atma was coming from the spiritual world into the material world, just like when you enter, you are entering Washington, you are entering Seattle county limits, whatever, King county limits. Like that, when you are entering the physical world, there is a board that said dukkhalayam ashashvatam. What is dukkha? Everybody knows. This was yesterday night. So dukkha alay. Alay means what? Home. Dukkha alay means home of misery. And one may say, but I am okay. And I just got my green card. I'm okay. Ashashvatam. It is possible that they'll look up your records again and see that there was some data mismatch and pack your bags also. Right? So Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam is the definition of this world. So in this world, we are trying to become happy, but the nature of this place is Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. So when we are born, if we don't cry, the doctor will make us cry. Tapak, tapak. Why? The medical reason is that means the baby is not breathing. So for lungs to open up, they beat up. So the baby cries, the lungs open. And why we're talking about like the horrible side of how painful it is as a birth. Isn't it amazing that every time a child is born, exactly, not before, not after, exactly just in time, the baby feels the hunger. So far, the baby was being fed from the pipe. But now the baby feels the hunger, the baby is crying, and the mother has milk in her breast, and she has no idea what happened, what chemical process manifested, what hormonal process manifested. That exactly in time, there is a milk for the baby, which is really good for the baby. That means the baby can only take that. You try to do something else, it will not work. And that milk, that magical liquid, is available to mother just in time when the baby is born. So one, it is not accident. So then the pain that the baby goes through is also not an accident. But our scriptures define when the baby is in mother's womb, the baby is praying to God that I will be a very nice spiritual person when I'm born. Please get me out of this enchilada. And but the process of birth is so traumatic that baby may again forget the promise made to the God. So not only our scriptures talk about when the ears develop and when the hands develop and when the organs develop, that information is given. That today's science can verify. 50 years back, the science couldn't verify. Radiology was not there. But what the baby psychology is, that they still don't know. We know. Right? So that is the beautiful process of birth. That itself is enough for a person to become a believer. Because how come the baby is exactly born and the milk is there and so many things come together just in time? That's just amazing. So next. So who wants to go through this process again? That is why it is a real problem of life. Not only the process itself is pain, but all other pains also begin with the birth only. दुनिया में आए हो जीना ही पड़ेगा जीवन है अगर जहर पीना ही पड़ेगा For somebody to compose this song, how much suffering they must have endured. For somebody to come out with this poem, to give music, put it into the Bollywood, right? दुनिया बनाने वाले क्या तेरे मन में समाई काहे को दुनिया बनाई छुप छुप तमाशा देखी वहां रे तेरी खुदाई you are left us alone hanging over here without visas and you are enjoying. So second problem we talked about was old age. So look at the difference. So I think they removed the Marilyn Monroe When she saw her first hair, white hair, she committed suicide. Like, I can be old, I am young, I'm beautiful, and I want to be always known as that. Namaste. Arnold, his whole life career and success is because of his physique. That is how he became famous. That is how he got into politics. That is how he married a wife who was in very politically rich family. But then gives up. The body will give up some point in time. Next, old age. That is the industry by itself. How to recover from the old age. And by the way, recently there was a SCO summit where top two, three country leaders were talking to each other. And it was a hot mic moment, means they do not know that people are hearing and they're talking. And you think they would be talking about conspiracy, political power, and this and that, or something secret? They were talking about how science could allow them to live for 150 years and how they can live longer because they all are very, very elderly people. So they're worried about old age. So even you may run a whole country that has billions of dollars and weapons and nuclear arsenal, but then what are you worried about? Arey, I'm getting old. What will happen? I have to give up all this wealth and power. So next. So old age is a real problem. Otherwise, the top powerful countries leaders should be talking about it. Yeah.
Most people spend their lives wrapped up in rushing to and fro. As time flows quickly by, days, months, and years rush by in the blink of an eye. Yet for some reason, people try to ignore this fact. It is as if they think they will never grow old. Yet the days of youth that they so fondly imagine will never end are really very short. Almost everyone realizes that he will grow old one day. Yet young people always feel that those days are very far off. They refuse to accept that they will one day be old, weak, and helpless. The two young people in this picture are good-looking, with clean and perfect skins and shining teeth. But there is another important detail. These pictures were taken in 1955. When this picture was taken, these two were most probably not giving any thought to the fact that they would one day grow old. Yet some 50 years or more have now gone by, and nothing remains of the youth and beauty in the picture. Time destroys everything. That is a law of the world.
So is old age a real problem of life? Is somebody able to avoid it? People are talking about it, especially the California billionaires, this new technology billionaires. They all want to cheat death. They want to cheat the old age. So it's a big project, big money behind it. Will it work? Well, not as per Bhagavad Gita, because it's a real problem of life. You have to rewrite humanity if people start living forever. There was this story of the Disney founder. He funded, so what does $20 million to some scientists saying that please figure out how to live forever. And the scientist came and said, yeah, give me $20, we'll blah, blah, blah. And said, yeah, we are making progress. We are making progress. And then when he was about to getting old and dying, said, sorry, we have not figured it out yet, but we are almost there. So we will freeze your body cryogenically and bring it back to life when our research is complete. So your money is not waste. It's like, what can I do? I'm dying anyways. After he died, the descendants, people who received his wealth, they came and came to this researcher saying that, no, you're not going to bring his body back to life. Take more money. They gave another 20 million. Keep quiet. So the whole point is the scientist took $40 million, giving back nothing. Is death and old age a real problem? Next. Disease. Having gone through recent pandemic, it's real. I was planning to complete this device batch and then go, and I had game planned everything around it. Yesterday, I received a phone call from India. My uncle is in hospital. I spoke to him on video. So I'm flying Monday. See, everything shifts so quickly just because of one phone call and somebody being in hospital. So the whole point is we want to be healthy, but then the fact is a good percentage of our GDP goes on medicine. Why? It is a real problem of life. If it was avoidable, then US would have done it. Okay, US is a capitalistic country. Everything is money. Europe, it's a socialistic country. The country, if they can save money on diseases, they will. They're not trying to spin everything in a capitalistic way. But there also, medical is a big problem. In spite of following everything properly, proper research, government gives guidance, what is good, what is bad, still everybody is getting sick. So disease is also a real problem. Next. Indeed, O Garuda, when the hour of death approaches, then by chance a certain disease raises its head. See, suddenly some complexity develops. Like my uncle had a cardiac arrest. Whole life vegetarian, farmer, living very nature-friendly life. Where is the question of cardiac arrest? It happened. The organs grow weak, troubles that start showing their powers as if all of a sudden millions of scorpions have stung the person. So what is the experience at the point of death for all of us? The experience at the point of death is as if out of nowhere, millions of scorpions are coming out and biting us. Now, I don't see much reflection here because raise your hand if you got a scorpion bite ever. Do you know charcoal? You fire up a charcoal, now it is red hot, take it somehow and stick it on your skin and hold it for hours and hours and hours and hours. How will that feel? That is one scorpion bite. Multiply it million times. That is death. It's like we are on a trip to Europe or something, or maybe India, stopping via Dubai, Singapore, whatever. And suddenly we lose our cell phone. And the cell phone had credit cards and everything attached to that. So now your money purse and phone is lost in a travel, in an unknown place. How is the feeling? Right? Or sometimes some hijackers come and take over your machine and say that your machine is locked. You have to pay us money. Otherwise, all your files, all your accounts, everything is in our custody. How do you feel? Now, none of these two things are physically you. Your hands, legs, eyes are still with you. And still you go through an agony as if now you are something less. Kuch to bada panga hai, right? So if this is our situation for things which are not us, imagine now not having the same body that we have enjoyed all our life. That is death. And death is so bad, and still some people commit suicide. Why? Because their belief is, or their current assumption is, life is more painful than death. So life is more painful than death. So let me choose death, because they don't remember the last life and they have not experienced death in this life. So there is an assumption that I am putting a stop to my agony. But as per Bhagavad Gita, no. The pain has to be endured across lifetimes. So you trying to run away from one life does not give you a concession in the next life. To the point, it is worse actually. Somebody commits a suicide. Now they are put into that Bhatakti Atma, ghostly body, where they cannot commit suicide and they have to endure a very long period of having the desires, having the frustration, but not having the body to do something about it. So spiritually understood, it is a very bad idea to commit suicide. to save from the problems. It does not help. If you hear or see anybody in that situation, talk to me. So next, can I get a volunteer to read it loudly?
In that disease condition, the dying person's eyes bulge due to the pressure of air from within, and one's glands become congested with mucus. One has difficulty in breathing, and there is a grinding sound within one's throat. Thus, one dies most pathetically.
I'm not saying that. Srimad Bhagavatam. And if you see day in, day out, that's the situation. And so 10, 12 years back, I was in a situation where another relative met with a big accident, and I was in the ICU waiting lounge for 18 days. I was working from there. Basically, I was there. Every half an hour, there would be some alarm sound and a dead body will come out of the ICU. Every half an hour, roughly speaking. So I saw a lot of people dying. And when the dead body comes out, in the waiting lounge, the relatives are sitting over there and they will all start crying. Ah, ooh, ah. And I'm like, day in, day out, I'm watching this. And I had started teaching this course recently. Initially, it was theory. After being in 18 days for ICU, it was a reality that these 4 problems are real problems of life. Because when you see that happening in front of your eyes again and again, it confirms that Bhagavad Gita is right. So we can say, yeah, no, but as per my perception, my life is good. Not many people have died next to me. But the fact of life is those 4 problems are real problems of life. Next. Oh, yeah. As if these 4 problems are not enough, there are 3 sources of miseries as well. Threefold miseries, we call them. Next. So we'll skip this. Next. Yeah, what are those threefold? The first is Adhyatmika Klesha. What is Adhyatmika? Misery is due to your own mind and body. Say, for example, if I have psychological issues, how many types of psychological issues we have? If you can chat GPT and say how many, God knows 1700 or more. There are psychological diseases that psychiatrists know about. God knows how many they do not know about. And where is the most suicide rates in which profession? It's a psychiatrist who perform the most suicides. You know why? Because everybody goes and downloads their toxic life on them. Now they have to go to somebody else as a psychiatrist. And who is in the most shortage in this country? If you try to get medical help, it's not the dentist who are in the shortage. It's a psychiatrist. Everybody needs a psychiatrist. If you don't like any other career and you still want to make good money, become a psychiatrist ever in business. People are mentally deranged. They need so much of help, so much of counseling. The good news, just by studying Bhagavad Gita and being spiritual circles, we get all the counseling for free actually. But yeah, that's the mental issues. Then the bodily diseases, well, there is a whole industry running on that. So bodily diseases are also unlimited. So mind and body, we causing our own issues, our own depression, our own suicidal thoughts. Problems basically which are internal to ourselves. That's the first method. Next one. Second is Adhibhautika. What is Adhibhautika? Some guy sitting in Washington, D.C. writing a fatwa and all the H1s going on hold is a trouble given by somebody to me. Right? Includes that mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, boss, neighbor, terrorist, chore, you name it. Or scorpions, tigers, snakes. Somebody else who is a living entity is causing me trouble. Right? Just look up on ChatGPT, what is the budget of the total, home alarms. In every home, there are alarms and cameras, right? Every car now has the cameras and methods of recording what happened. Why? Because somebody else can give you trouble. Now you look at the defense, total amount of dollars, number of dollars spent in this world on the defense strategy by countries. Don't you think if we take all the money used on guns and weapons and translate that into money for food and education, do you think humanity is better off? Because all these trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, which are going on guns and weapons and drones, now can be used for education and nutrition and value education. So Adhibhautik klesha is what? Misery is due to other living entities. That is also a real problem of life. Otherwise, which country is fool enough to say that instead of putting money on my education and food and all that, I'm going to put it on defense, right? So next, Adidevika. One may say, I will figure out how to keep my mind and body healthy with yoga. One may say, Adhibhautika, I'll go and hide in mountains, so I'll be in a cave or some space where nobody can reach me. Okay, you saved from first two, congratulations. How about the third, the Adhidevika? Adhidevika is like a meteoroid comes from the sky and hampers. Now, you may be living in a very billion-dollar house, but if a meteoroid comes, you're done. So nobody can say that I'm rich today, I'll be rich tomorrow. Nobody can say I'm healthy today, I'll be healthy tomorrow. So these Adhibhautika kleshas are also real. So these are the three sources of miseries. By now, you should start to see that there's a pattern. Yeah? If there was one trouble, it is a coincidence. It's a second trouble, then maybe there is more coincidence. इतने सारे design pattern दिख रहा है. Those who know IT, we can see a design pattern out of the troubles now, and they are documented in our scriptures. Was life is going to be like this. Dukhalayam Ashashwadam. You are going to have 4 real problems of life. You are going to be having 3 sources of miseries. Please enjoy. You want to be away from God? Please try. Be my guest. Experiment with the situation. See whether you can become happy. Next. So these are your own problems. Whether drugs, if people are doing drugs on their own, suicide 7.6% increased. Next. 1 in 5 US citizens are sick because of mental illnesses. So you go to doctor, they'll ask you a question in the questionnaire. Was there a time recently when for a week or so, or even 2 days or 3 days, you felt like not doing your normal activity? You had no interest in your everyday activity. I could never understand that question. Then I realized that is how they are trying to figure out if somebody is depressed. Because when people are depressed, they don't feel like doing everything. Right? Okay, next. Adhibhautika, somebody else give me trouble. Right? How were these? Was it Napoleon's army defeated by mosquitoes? The Indian mosquitoes defeated armies of invaders. So even a mosquito can take care of you for that matter, for Adhibhautika. So, bro, can we play the play button on the coconut? Yes. These are not movie shots, okay? This is news shots. Again, it was not a movie. It is real life. People are actually going through that, and it is not an accident. That it is not a small coincidence that it happens. These things happen all the time. Typhoons, hurricane. You know what is hurricane? हरि को जानते हैं आप? केन मतलब डंडा. तो हरि का केन है कि जो लोग those who don't follow the scriptures properly, हरि का डंडा will come after them. Next. And you can have nuclear weapons in your hand, but you cannot do anything to those hurricanes. When they come, they come. All right. So if so many problems exist in life, life must be really bad, huh? There is no hope. Well, there is hope. The good news, in our spiritual life, we do not need to fly by taking a aeroplane or a boat or bicycle or anything. In our spiritual body, we can just go from anywhere to anywhere we want. That's one. And we don't need visas. We can go from one place to another just like that. So now temporary solutions that we have developed are so much of machinery, so much of science. Next. With so much of science, not only patients die, but doctors also die. That famous case of a cardiac surgeon in India who performed thousands of surgeries, died by a cardiac arrest in his 40s. That proves that these are solutions, but these are not eternal, permanent, and final solutions. They can extend your life. Next. Muhammad Ali used to say that, I am the best, something like that. That I hover like a butterfly, I can, sting like a bee, and nobody is better than me, things like that. When he was strong and he was winning all the time. But as time moved next, he got Parkinson's disease. He couldn't even control his hand. So now the guy who could punch so well is not able to move his hand. And the journalist asked him again, you used to say, I'm the greatest. Do you still believe I'm the greatest? And he said, yes, I am the greatest. Fool. The powers I had were empowered by God for some time. And I used to think they're mine. So any strength, any intelligence, any skills you have are temporarily empowered. Few days back, we all were in diapers. Few years later, we all are again in diapers. In between, there is that small range where you have ability, you have strength, you have intelligence, you have freedom. How do you make use of that freedom decides your future? Not just as a human here, but also eternal as a soul. So we need to use our freedom very wisely. Next. The whole pharmaceutical industry, science, can it stop the suffering? If it could, it would have by now, right? There are benefits. I'm not saying there are no benefits. Even today, when I get sick, I do go to doctor and get the surgery done. Not so far required. The point is, we are using the science. Is that a permanent solution? Right. Next. Can I get a volunteer to read this loud here?
No plant can fly like a bird in the sky and swim like a fish underwater in the submarine. The only problem is he can't walk on land like a human being because of pollution.
And the pollution has only gone worse, just that it has been shifted to the third world. We only do services, research, copyrights. You guys take care of shipbuilding, shipwrecking, coal mines. Next. Previous. a mountain of 6 million tires and growing. And some people are using those tires to make a road out of it. They're using them as ingredients for the road. There are efforts to recycle. Look at the problems humans are creating. Next. Science has invented bombs that can only blast living bodies into pieces. They can't create life. We can't even create a chicken or a hen or a bird for that matter. Destroying? Yeah, sure. We learned that a lot. Next. So what are the temporary solutions? The problems that we have are examples, right? When old age, we use the hair dye to make the white hair look dark. Wrinkles, we use facelifts. There are temporary solutions available, but they're not really permanent in any sense. Next. Next. So we're trying to look like the guy on the horse. The reality is we are not. Next. We may think we are a tiger, but we may just be a cat. Next. So science is not able to stop the real problems of life. If it was possible, people with all the money in hand and all the power in hand would have done it. Can you imagine so many dictators mankind has seen? Imagine all those dictators living forever. That's not a good idea. Next. This is interesting. No matter what you have, did I tell you the Vamandev story? Yes. 3 steps alive. You know it or I told you? Yes. So what is the Vamandev principle? Even if I take all the trees in the world and make a pen out of that, and even if I take a sky as a whiteboard and write down those using the ink from all the oceans, I keep writing my desires and I keep fulfilling my desires, still fulfilling desires, completing. Still, I will not be happy. The only way to be happy is be happy now with what we have. So unless we can be happy in current and present situation, adding something in our life is a mirage we are chasing to become happy that never comes true. Who's saying that? I'm not. Vamandev. Vamandev is Vishnu himself, giving this knowledge to who? The king of all 3 worlds, Bali Maharaj, the Vedic king, all the demonic from the demon race, but he ruled the whole existence or universe. Why? Because we are more like a fish out of water. We are out of our natural element. We are in a place where we don't belong. So when we are in a place we don't belong, just like a fish is supposed to be in the water, you take it out and say, I will give you that gold visa. What is it? New idea, right? $1 million and you get a visa. Gold card or something. So I'll give you the gold visa. I will give you on the top of that $10 million in your bank account. I will get you a nice wife to marry with. All those things we are telling the fish, and the fish is flapping. Why the fish is flapping? All it is saying is, can I just go back to water? Why? Because all the fish needs is to be in water and breathe in the water and eat in the water, swim in the water. It does not need other things that we are promising. Like that, because the Atma, the soul, came away from God, from the spiritual world, where we naturally belonged, where our natural existence was Sat Chit Ananda, Sat, eternity. See, our eternity in USA is at risk because of the H1. So Sat is impacted. Chit, knowledge. We do not know what is going to happen next. How will companies respond? Will they choose to pay and keep or not? How things are going to manifest? We do not know. So as an Atma, we are in a Chit situation. We already know what is what. Here we do not know. So we are in a Asat, Achit. As a result, Atma is supposed to be always in Ananda. We are in the Nirananda stage. I am now in trouble. How am I going to handle my life? My whole life's dreams, I see collapsing in front of my eyes. And my life is yet to begin yet. I am just doing tapasya to get to a point where I'll start enjoying. And that enjoyment point seems to be moving farther away to the point of where is it, I do not know right now. right? It's not a very happy situation. But that's exactly what is happening to us again and again and again and again and again. Think of it in the traditional household. A girl gets married into the household, and the first thing she has to do is do a tapasya of pleasing and keeping everybody happy, being the service mood, and have babies and cook for the babies and take care of mother-in-law and take care of this and take care of that. After doing all that enchilada, after 20 years, she feels like now my kids are grown up. Now my son is going to get married. Now I am going to become the mother-in-law. I have now some chance to kind of relish life. I will have some control over my life. I can tell now my bahu what to do, right? And then what's next? The bahu comes in and says that, who are you? Get out of this house. Me and your son will stay, and you figure out, right? What happened? Her whole idea was, I will do my tapasya so that I will enjoy next 50 years. And now there is a clash. That is the beginning of this Sas Bahuka problem. That, hey, I have done so much of tapasya to be where I am now. Can you also do the same tapasya? And the next generation says, what tapasya? I'm just supposed to enjoy from day one. So this whole idea that I'm doing so much to become happy and I'm not getting my happiness is not an accident. It is not a coincidence. It is not by chance. It is happening every day, day in, day out to everyone, everywhere, time and again, has happened in the past, will happen in future. It is not new. Please understand, it is a function of we being away from the spiritual world, we being in the part of the material world, and we being in a place where it is designed for unhappiness. This place is designed for unhappiness. And by ending our life, we do not go back to the place of happiness. We stay here, but in a way that we cannot commit that offense again. So that is not a solution. So although it sounds very depressing, there is a solution. If we didn't have a solution, why are we talking about problem? Right? Can you imagine? You go to the doctor's office and they have X-ray and they have all the equipment to find out what happened to you, but they don't have a solution for it. You're like, why did I spend money on the labs? Next. So this is the story, imaginary story, that there is a boat wreck and there is a person, a guy who swims somehow to that island. The island has a bunch of localites and they are waiting for him. Like, wow, they put a garland in. You are the king. From today onwards, you are the king. And he's like, okay, not bad. I was about to die and I became the king of this island. And slowly, slowly, he learns the rituals and all that. And he learns something very important. He asks, what happened to the last king? They said, there is another island far away, like a few miles into the ocean. When 1 year is complete, we take this new king and throw them into that island. You figure out how you want to live. Like, oh my God, I didn't know that when I accepted to become the king, not that I had a choice. They made me a king. I had to become the king. Now I need to figure out what am I going to do after 1 year. So as a king, he has some control. So he starts pushing some rations, food supplies, and furniture and all that to that island where he's supposed to be deported. Do you understand? So our situation is like that. In 100 years, our project is going to get over. For some of us like me, 50 years. So the project over here is going to end for sure. We will be sent to some other place. If we do karmic life better, we are preparing for next life. That means life after life, our situation gets better. If we hit it right, if we follow Bhagavad Gita correctly, this could be our last life. And if we do it right, this is our last life, in spiritual life, Anandam Buddhivardhanam, all time the happiness of the growing side. Every step is a dance. Every word is a song. So basically, we are in a place of happiness back again, just like the fish is back in the water. We do not need to deal with the problems of this world because we don't need this world in the first place. So that is a solution Bhagavad Gita gives, and that is why we teach Bhagavad Gita. If there is no solution, we have no point in talking about the problem. Next. So the wise people, first thing is they have faith in God. But the foolish, they will say, show me God. Right? Lives life according to the laws of God, even the laws of the society, they'll follow all the rules. And what will the foolish do? They will try and break every rule possible. I have a friend who says, I'm happy to break any law. What I do is I pick couple of laws to break, I calculate their impact, and then I break them. Like I know when I break this, what will happen. Then I break it, but I know what I'm doing. So the idea is to keep breaking the laws. That is his idea. Remember the temporary nature of this world. So basically, we're not eternally over here. We're not going to be here for a million years. No matter where we live on the earth, the life is going to come to an end. Right? The foolish say, forgets the temporary nature and says that I have to enjoy now and here. If I'm not enjoying, it is a big problem. And the wise, what they do? They follow a regulated life. What is regulation? Doing what is good for the long term. Otherwise, the foolish will do what is good right now. For example, there are few things in life which are happiness at the beginning, but pain at the end. Right? So you start by saying, yeah, for example, if we don't want to exercise, if we don't want to follow any food diet restrictions, if we keep eating junk food, it feels yummy, it feels good, but then it leads to a bad lifestyle. Next. Okay. So people are traveling in train and then one passenger is less. Just like people get off the train and we don't care, right? I mean, they left. What is the big deal? So like that, next. Hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment. When we started the class, few thousand people have died on the face of the earth, right? Their relatives are grieving. We don't care actually. Hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, but a foolish living being nonetheless thinks oneself deathless as if we are going to live forever and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world. Where is this coming from? Ahani ahani bhutani gachantiha yamalayam sheshah sthavaram ichati kim ascharya atahapuram. So this is the story coming from Mahabharata where there is a Yaksha Prashna. You may have seen that TV serial Mahabharata. So the Pandavas are walking through the jungle. They feel very thirsty. The eldest brother Yudhishthira says, "Oh, Nakula Sahadeva, can you get some water for us?" They go looking. They don't come back. Then he says, Arjuna, Bhima, they don't come back either. Then the Yudhishthira comes looking for the water. He finds a pond, but he also finds 4 Pandavas dead. Can you imagine? All your 4 brothers are dead lying there. And then he hears a voice. He says, your brothers, I told them, this lake belongs to me. If they want to drink water from here or take water, they need to answer my questions. And they said, who are you? I don't care about your questions. I'm going to just drink the water and take water for my brothers. And so I killed them. What do you want to do, Yudhishthir Maharaj? Do you want to answer my questions or do you want to die? So Yudhishthir Maharaj says, yes, what is your question? And his one question is, what is the most surprising things in the world? What is the most surprising? And that is the answer that is coming over here. The answer is, everyone is dying all the time. We think I am going to live forever. Even a 90-year-old man has a plan for 150 years of enjoyment. He wants to have enough wealth, enough health, enough medication, all that. Everything should be lined up. Why? Because we don't believe that I'm going to die. Why we don't believe? Because truly, we being the soul, Atma, we know I'm eternal in nature. So it's hard for us to believe that I'm going to die. All the dead bodies on the mountains of Mount Everest, were highly motivated people at some point in life. It's just that they didn't think they're going to die. Clear? So, next. But that mentality that, oh, I'm not going to die, I'm going to live forever, I can just think of enjoying, not worry about following the rules and regulations and investing in my karma, for breaking my karma cycle, for going back to spiritual life, is like a green. As long as it's a green grass, they don't care that my friends were playing with me yesterday, now they're hanging upside down in the shop. They're not thinking about it. Have you seen a bakra stressed? As long as there is a green grass, they will continue. But we want to be smarter than the goats. We see day in, day out, we are losing relatives. Day in, day out, we are losing friends. They are dying. That means our death is also coming. We have to see where we are in our life cycle, 25% in, 50% in, 75% in. And some people maybe 90% in and still not believe. They're like, no, I'm going to live forever. Right? That's the Bhagavad Gita. Next. So what are the permanent solutions? Why am I suffering and what is the goal of life? It's a wise question. If I'm suffering, I'm supposed to ask this question. Why am I suffering? Next. What we are suffering, we know by now. Because we have come away from God. We are not in company of God. We are not in the place where we are supposed to be in the first place. And we have broken many laws of nature. Although probably people who are coming and attending Bhagavad Gita are the best of the mankind that are available. Still, we have done mistakes also. So what is the proposal? Bhagavad Gita proposal? Take up spiritual life seriously. And instead of focusing on just solving the bodily problems, start investing into our spiritual life also. Because we are spirit soul, if we invest into our spiritual life, then we are living the real life. If we are living the bodily life, then bodily, whatever is necessary, we are doing, which is necessary to keep going. But we definitely are under investing into our spiritual life. As a result, the problems of life can get us. We can go through mental challenges, situational challenges, because we are only thinking at a body level. Next. You can see yourself where you are in the game. But what is Bhagavad Gita saying? 2.22. You are the Atma, soul. The body just like a shirt. As a person puts on new dresses, giving up the old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. This is most relevant when we are actually facing death, but it is most relevant when our relatives are facing death. And it is most relevant when we are not bedridden, we can do something about our life. That is when we are supposed to know what to do. Once you are bedridden, what will you do? That time everybody can say, yeah, I'll become spiritual. Next. The soul leaves this body, physical body, and goes to another body. Right? The quality of the desire stored in one subtle body at the point of death. How it is decided? What is my desire? So you go on this Tiger Mountain and people are doing this parasailing. Oh, you love to fly so much. Then Mother Nature will allow them to become a flying object in the next life. It could be a bird, it could be a Garuda, it could be a small cockroach. That depends on their karma. So desire and deserve. So we go to each other's houses. The first thing we'll notice is our houses look different. Somebody's house is big, somebody's is small, somebody's rental, somebody's a condo, somebody's a multi-story, somebody's a, whatever. It came from two things. What do we desire? In the direction of desire, what can we afford? Desire and deserve. Combination is our house. Our bodies are also like that. What was our desire and what do we deserve? The spirit soul moves from one body to another. On what basis? That's what I'm talking about. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejanti ante kalevara. Tam tam eva iti kaunteya satat bhava bhavitaha. Bhagavad Gita 8.6. In case you don't trust me, we are giving you the references like 8.6. Go check. Whatever state of being one remembers when one quits one's body, O son of Kunti, that state one will attain without fail. If I want to become a governor, but I don't have good karma to become a governor, then what happens? Next life, I become a rat in the governor's bungalow. And then at night, I'm walking as if this is my house. So I got the feeling of being the governor in the governor's bungalow without actually being governor because I don't have the qualification. But if I do have qualification, I could become governor also, right? So just that is one example. The bird is another example. Somebody is swimming all the time in the Puget Sound. What will you do? Next life is some kind of a water creature. Yes. So whatever is your desire, that is coming true. So be careful of what you desire because it will come true. Not only that, say for example, if your desire is that you want to fly, swim, and go underground as well. Okay. So now 3 lifetimes you added to your queue before you go back to the spiritual world. So your desire is, I want Lamborghini. Karma doesn't allow right now. So then you have to, maybe, or you want to be a billionaire. The karma doesn't allow right now. God knows how many lifetimes get added with each desire. Every time we add a desire, we also added possibly a life. Hopefully in one life, all desires can get completed, but that's not guaranteed. Okay, next. So we are giving up one body, going to another body, and then that cycle is continuing continuously. What happens? As a human beings, we are earning our good and bad karma. But in the animal life, we are only burning our karma. Why? Animals do not have choice. How? We can decide whether I want to be vegetarian, I don't want to be vegetarian. Choice is there. With choice comes karma. Animals don't have a choice. You take a tiger, Bengal tiger, and put that Bengal tiger in an apple garden. Now there are nice red apples shining, right? But the tiger, if doesn't get to hunt and eat somebody else, the tiger will die because of hunger. What happened? The tiger cannot see the apples. Tiger can see the apples. But the Paramatma that we learned, Upadrushta Anumanta, has given permission that soul, a tiger's body can only eat meat. What that came from? When this person was in the human body and they only wanted to eat meat all the time. Then the mother nature says, okay, you like to eat meat. Now you play the role of tiger and eat meat all your life. At the end of the life, when you are not able to hunt, you will die because of hunger. But nobody will come and give you a spoon of food also. You have to die. The tigers die very bad. Tigers, lions, because they are neither strong enough to hunt, nor there is a social system to feed them. So it's usually the hunger. And they have apples around. But the Paramatma says, you wanted to eat meat all the time. Now you cannot eat apples. So apples are right there hanging. Bananas are hanging. But they'll die because of hunger. That is a punishment. So they're clearing their karma. At that point in time, they are not getting more karma for eating meat. Why? Because they don't have a choice. We have a choice. So remember, the choice and the use of choice is equal to karma and next life. Okay, next. Yeah, I mean, if you put apple seeds, apple will grow. Have you seen any banana coming up? Next. So every action has reactions, and you just have to know enough of what happened to know that it is like that. Most of the time, we do not know. So, for example, we get into a situation, what did I do wrong? Right? Or we see some very nice person, innocent person getting in trouble. We do not know enough. But you talk to a husband and wife who have spent 60 years together. They can give you a clear record. अभी जो इसको जो अभी हो रहा है ना, इसने 40 साल पहले ऐसे किया था. Or the husband will say she disrespected her mother-in-law, so now the daughter-in-law is disrespecting her. So if we spend enough time with each other, we can connect the dots. But again, 50 years, 10 years, 100 years is very limited time. Soul is eternal in nature. So because soul is eternal in nature, what happens? God knows all our past, present, and future. But we know very little. Because we know little, we see that as injustice. Arey, this is not right here. But the fact is, the soul is eternal in nature, and hence it's coming back as per what I have done. So our amount of happiness is coming from the karma. It will manifest through different methods. Next. Some are instant karma. You punch somebody, somebody punches you. That's instant. And what are delayed karmas? Keep smoking cigarette for a long time and then you get a disease. That is like a delayed type of karma. For example, if I drink 3 liters of milk tonight, I may not get upset stomach right away. But what about next day morning? Oh, so karma has a gestation period. 10 hours, maybe 5 hours, 8 hours. So like that, the actions, every action can have a different gestation period of when it comes out. So Yudhishthir, no. Dhritarashtra, he asked Krishna, even to have one son is considered auspicious. To have 100 sons is considered super auspicious. But then all these 100 sons to die in the Mahabharata war is super inauspicious. What is the background? So Krishna said, 50 lifetimes back, you are a hunter who'd kill the birds and animals in a half-dead way. Like, you'll harass them. So you earned such a bad karma, but you didn't have good karma to suffer also. Like, to suffer, you need to lift something, then you will drop. Na? Patakne se pehle uthana zaruri hai. So 50 lifetimes, you did some good work. Out of piety for that, you had 100 sons. But 50 years ago, whatever you did mess up, to punish for that, your 100 sons died. So the idea is, the problem that I'm facing today may not be because of today, yesterday, one lifetime. It may be very, very, very ancient. But law of karma is infallible. How much infallible? You take 1,000 cows, they go to jungle, they come back. When they come back, there are hundreds of calves who are waiting for the cows. But each calf will find its mother accurately, without RFID, without geolocation, without photo reading, without face reading. The calf, what is the IQ of a calf? And thousands of cows, thousands of calves. The calf will find the cow very accurately. Like that, our karma will come and find us, no matter what, no matter where we go, no matter how much we hide. Next. So we really have a choice as a human beings. Animals don't have a choice. Humans have a lot of choices available. Either we do the right choice or left choice. We can decide which way we want to go. Some people are hell-bent on making their choices bad ways. And there is a gestation period that they forget. That for some period, people, even while doing wrong and bad things, will be able to get away. And then the bad cycle starts. Next. What are the 4 pillars of sinful life? Wheat industry. 340 million tons every year. How many animals have to die? And look at the kind of diseases. 60% of the known infection diseases are from hepatitis, is raw pork. HIV, AIDS is coming from monkeys. Killed 30 million people. Norovirus, H5N1, then Ebola, coronavirus. Can you imagine? Coronavirus came from bats, not just bats. Somebody ate a bat that was not cooked well. And so many people died. You think the humanity will sit back and think that, let's all go vegetarian. That part didn't happen. They said, okay, we will put mask. We'll use other research, but we'll keep eating the bats also. Okay, next. It's a heart-wrenching video. Let me know if it gets too much for you. We'll stop it and move to the next
Mais tu bouges, j'étais là. Mais tu veux.
रहने हुआ
nice video. Small children also understand. Sometimes as a grown-ups, we may forget. And what happens, we go to five-star hotels and office parties, and the same meat comes in a very refined way in front of us. It is well cooked, it is served in a very delicious way, and it is placed in front of salads and other healthy items. And when we think maybe it is not a problem, but somebody died for that, and the children don't like it. Should we? Next.
Have you asked yourself, how have I contributed to starting this pandemic? Maybe not, and most likely you'll answer me, I didn't start it. But science says that you may have. And here's how. The fact is that this virus has come from beast to man. Because of rampant meat consumption, humans are in too close proximity to animals. And what viruses animals have, humans become susceptible to. COVID-19 is connected to bats, or pangolin. It has just started and has already killed over 75,000 globally. Who knows what the final toll will be? Ebola started in 2014. It's connected to bats and primates and has killed 11,000 today. H1N1, swine flu, 600,000. SARS, that also started in a wet market and it killed 1,000. And of course AIDS, linked to hunting monkeys, 32 million today. All these viruses and others like bird flu, experts consider to be triggers that can easily fire off world pandemics.
This is our new reality right now.
That by eating animals, by hunting them, we come in contact with their viruses. 60% of known infectious diseases in humans are transmitted from animals. That means that it's not just meat eaters who get a virus, but anyone they contact. So, now with COVID-19, we are seeing how easily humans transmit those viruses at who knows what price to humanity. Now, you may not believe this pandemic is due to the wrath of God or the law of karma, but you cannot deny a fact of science that meat eating risks pandemics. The Chinese government has already suggested citizens cut back their meat consumption. My friend, like me, you are probably in lockdown. You and I have adjusted our lives to save our lives and the lives of others. Now I'm asking you to consider making another adjustment, a lifelong adjustment. Please stop eating meat. Now, no doubt, non-vegetarians will argue that they have a right to eat what they please. But I and the 500 million vegetarians and vegans of the world reply, not when your right to meat jeopardizes my right to life.
Amazing person. He's running a farmhouse in Hungary. It is off the grid. There's a whole European community that will do their farming. They have cows and bulls and they grow their own crops and they have their own little temple. They have their little own college. They have little own temple and they are by themselves. And they are extremely happy people. And they show, and these are all Europeans, who studied Bhagavad Gita, got the confidence in Bhagavad Gita, decided to try out Bhagavad Gita, and they are living off-grid life very successfully, very happily, and very healthy manner. That confirms that our Vedic knowledge actually works. It's just that we have stopped experimenting with it. And our invitation is experiment with Vedic life and see what happens. Next.
Have you asked yourself?
Intoxication. 100% of alcohol disorders, 18% of suicides, 18% of interpersonal violence, 27% of, I grew up in Mumbai and I grew up in that Lalbagh Parel area. Anybody knows that area? I don't know. I saw a lot of people used to come drunk in the evening and then there is a fist fight. Either their wives and husband are quarreling or they're beating up their wife. When their sons become certain age, like 15, 20, They start beating up their father also for coming drunk home. So just alcohol I'm talking about. I have seen so much of dance and drama on that one topic. Forget about every other habit in the world, right? Next. Gambling. Personally, I have seen Netflix type documentaries on TV where people who are addicted to gambling, they start spending their spare money, then they start spending their family money, then they start spending every bit of their salary on day one. And now they're out of money. What do they want to go and rob a bank? They land in jail. So if ever you have to go to Las Vegas because of business conferences and all that, I'll ask you to look at one or two things. People who are serving in those five-star places, they're given coats, suits, they're waiters and all that. Look at their face. See if they're happy. Then second thing, you go into the casino and see people gambling. Very carefully see whether those people look very satisfied and happy. These are the people who have lost their battle with life. They have lost hope. And they're trying to pull out little money and trying to see whether they can miraculously get rich and miraculously get better. So I feel really sad when I was there. Last UiPath conference was in Las Vegas. I went over there. I wanted to make a documentary on those people only because they are looking so in the city that is supposed to give happiness. Very desperate. Very average income Americans who were continuously smoking something and trying to put money and see whether something is changing. It's like somebody is robbing you. Stop. So it's painful actually. And I have been guilty of this gambling. Like, young I came to America. First time I went casino. Friends take you as a very jazzy thing. We went to ATM. We pulled out $20. I limited. I said $20 may if I want to become big, I'll become in $20. Uske baad nahi chahiye. And I went and played. And then my parents came. And we were driving from Lake Tahoe to Sacramento. On the way, there was a big building casino. And I told my mom, Mom, do you want to go? I said, what is it? It's a casino. What is it? No, we can go and play gamble over there. I told. And next thing, it was a thunderous voice that said, "Kha meri kasam wapas nahi jayega." I said, why did I even tell? Not that I was addicted, but I didn't want to give up my right to go also. But that was like 30 years back. The whole point is gambling is a problem. Now it's becoming on the app, online and all of that, which is even more vicious. And it is compulsive. It means people want to get addicted to that. They're playing all the time. At least one employee in my career, I had to fire because she used to just do online gambling. And the day I fired her, she told me, actually, you did the right thing, Ganesh. Okay, thank you. Next. So we have a couple of choices. Stay within the family life that we have accepted or be on the hunt for romantic life all the time. Now, if you look at the mentality of the people, right? For example, when you are nicely sitting in your home library, reading books, think of it that mindset versus you are in the jungle trying to hunt and possibly get hunted also. You are living very uncertain life when you are in the hunting game. Like that, people want to live a stable family life. They don't need to invest their energy always in two things. One is to look out for the next partner or trying to see whether their current partner is cheating them. That's where the most of the energy goes. Is my current partner cheating on me? And can I cheat my partner without getting caught? And that leads to so many N types of psychological issues. People with $64 billion became $32 billion lost because of the divorce. So, we know billionaires who lost their billions of dollars because they couldn't stay within their family life. So we know enough about this, and I don't think this is a problem we need to solve here. But the point is, one of the regulative principles is stay within the married life. Do not try to seek happiness outside. Next. So if you follow these rules, which are supposed to be austerity, sacrifice, knowledge, and association of saints. If we follow the basics, that can lead to, then we can attain the supreme destination. No birth, no old age, no disease, no death. And it's not like somebody's asking us for the arm and the leg. It is just that don't do bad things. That's all. Next. The good news is many of us might be almost there, but not doing bad things. But maybe we do not know what are the good things I am supposed to perform also. Right? What are the positive actions I am supposed to do also? Next.
Like on the example of meat eating, I just want to add one personal observation.
Yeah.
When you listen to stop eating meat, we should also stop serving meat. I've seen so many fake vegetarians around me, like friends of mine, couples, they are vegetarians. But in their son's birthday party, they're serving chicken pizza or meat pizza.
Socially acceptable.
Their friends do eat. And they have a fear that
they'll become a social reject by being pakka vegetarian.
And I fall into that play. I went to a birthday party of my friend. And for they are vegetarian, everything would be vegetarian.
It was
some paneer pizza, and I was hungry and I ate one, and I was just like so completely destroyed. So that happened to me, and that's what I believe. Like we should avoid fake vegetarians.
Fake vegetarians. So it's a good question to ask, right?
Yeah.
And think of something. You brought up a good topic. Most of the time, it is social acceptance. But that social acceptance is a slippery slope because you take one step and then you take second step and then you lose the sensitivity and the difference and then you start enjoying that also, right? But if we do that by law of karma, if we are hurting a life, we need to be hurted back also, right? So if I kill a chicken, I have to become a chicken and keep doing cock, 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 cock and get killed. That is a fact of life. Now, whether we like it or not, does not matter. It will come to us.
Sorry to.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
But there's like many of our friends, mostly ladies, like housewives, they are vegetarians, but their husbands or kids eat meat. And though they are vegetarian, their wives, but they cook meat. So
there is India is a gradation system at different grades. Some people say, "Oh, I am eating meat only on Friday," right? That is another type of. So everyone has a different flavor of what they do and what they don't do. The right thing to do is just not do it, right? I mean, we like our children, so God likes His children also. So why should we do that? Next. So what are the positive things we can do, right? Now the thought came back. We can count a lot of friends we know who were vegetarians in their previous 2 generations, and now they're turning slowly non-vegetarian, and their kids are fully non-vegetarian. You see the gradation in front of our eye. We see last 2 generations, current generation and next generation. In 4 generations, you see people going from extremely pious background to extremely impious background. And that transition is the Kali Yuga, the age of darkness, where things are shifting so fast that it becomes very, very relevant to propagate the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, because that is how we can save the mankind. Okay, so what is A, B, C, D, E? A for association. Anything you want to do in life, the first thing you need is what? Like-minded people. Even to drink beer, you need like-minded people. Even drug addicts are together. Yesterday, I was driving in Seattle. In one park, there were like at least 40 people standing there and smoking something. Homeless, mostly homeless. Oh, wow. So they also need association. Even to do that, you need association. So association is finding like-minded people. Just like if I want to go to Mumbai, I'm going to find other people who are going to Mumbai in the flight. So when we travel in one direction, we're going to find like-minded people. So we need to find like-minded people who want to end the miseries of life. They want to take human life in control. They want to use the opportunity of human life in doing the right thing so that we don't have to take birth again at all. We want to, as a fish, we want to go back in water. As a soul, we want to go back to the spiritual world and end this game of trouble. What was the trouble? 4 problems of life and 3-fold miseries. From Brahma, from Indra to Indrakopa. Indrakopa is supposed to be a small worm. Everybody has to go through the problems that we talked about. So it's not like you can elevate yourself just around over here and skip those miseries. That's not true. We have to suffer. So A is for association, B is for books. So if we read spiritual books, they give us the insight that is not possible by direct perception, by watching around, or logic. They tell us something that is beyond us, beyond we can see. C for chanting. Remembering God's name is the fastest way to connect with God. That is a better 911 call because it does not depend on any telecom network. It does not charge you for the calls, and you can do it anywhere, anytime without a cell phone, without a telephone. And then D for diet. Diet, we talked about it in detail, but what we eat also has to be offered to God. Why? Because, say, for example, if I come to your home and you have prepared some good meal and I eat it as if you owe me, if I'm arrogant, that is not a very good thing to do. If I come and appreciate, say that, wow, such a nice cooking you have done and I really liked it and thank you for inviting me. That is like better way to do things, right? That's normal to be grateful if you invite me for meal. So like that, all the food grows in the ground. It grows because of sunshine. So it is part of the divine arrangement that the food grows. So we are supposed to be thankful for the food that grows. It does not grow in the Apple factory. It does not go in the McDonald's factory. It grows on the ground. So even a billionaire depends on something that grows in the ground. That's why we are supposed to be thankful. So we offer it to Lord with a tulsi leaf putting on that and saying that, oh Lord, thank you for the food because you have given us hunger, you have given us food also, and we are grateful for the arrangement. If you notice, any propensity we have, there is a fulfillment for that propensity in Mother Nature. So for example, if I feel thirsty, there is water. If I feel hungry, there is food. If I like romantic life, there are romantic partners available. So the point is, all fulfillments are possible with the propensities. So it is divine arrangement. We are supposed to be just grateful for what we have. What happens with that is the law of karma takes charge in terms of when we are following, and then E for engagement. Now that you are in the company of good people and you are reading spiritual books and you learn the purpose of life and how to live life, what do you, and then you are chanting for yourself, you are feeling more empowered, connected, energized, right? Then you are eating prasadam, that takes you to the next level. Then how about I help also? So for example, I'm coming to the program. Can I help after the program to organize a little bit? Can I help move the boxes to the car? Small things, reset the chairs, clean the tables. So we feel like doing something, right? That is the act of giving back. And we're not really giving it back. We are paying it forward. We will try to say, for example, the students today who are helping us were the ones who attended the DYS some point in time. I was the one who attended DYS some point in time. So we learned, we benefited, we want to pay it forward. That is called as E for engagement. I want to take it forward. I want to pay it forward because it is not possible to pay back. How will you pay back? Somebody just help you go back to the spiritual world. Somebody just reconnected you back to God. Somebody just help you break down all the sins of millions of lifetimes and not pay for it. Without paying for the sins of last many lifetimes, somebody gives us a way to scoot out of it. Like, you know, I was in a traffic, speeding ticket, and I connected with a lawyer and they got me out of it. I'm thankful, right? Although they charged me, but I'm thankful. So without paying the whole deal and insurance, and all that. So if somebody can skip us from all the karma that is due for suffering from millions of lifetimes of mistakes, if it is possible to skip that, if it is possible to go back, then we want to be grateful. But the value coming out of that is so much, we are not able to pay back. We pay it forward by helping somebody else. That's what we are doing. We are trying to propagate this at no cost, no obligation, just as a voluntary effort on the top of our daily services in life, on our daily family lives, is because that's the only way we can pay back for what we have received. So it's just, that's how it propagates. There is no other benefit coming out of it other than doing the right thing. This will go next. The one who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. What is Bhagavad Gita saying? It is possible to be self-realized, and you can go back in this lifetime also. It's not like we have to bury our head in the sand and do yoga for thousands of years or sit in the icy caves. We have to harass ourselves. We have to give up our family life. We have to donate all our wealth. We don't need to pull out our hair from the body. No suffering is required, please. Some belief systems will say that you need to suffer to recover from the karma. We are saying no. Just by doing the positive thing, your negative things will be. So think of it like this: you have a very, very naughty child, and the naughty child has broken windows and broken doors and broken car and is very, very naughty and hurting others. But one fine day, that child reforms and says that, Dad, please tell me what should I do today? And in the evening comes and says that, Dad, was I a good boy today? Did I do everything that you expected me? Do you think I will still have propensity to give suffering to that child for the previous mistakes? Or will I say, okay, I forgive you. Don't repeat, please. Yeah. If I'm that kind, do you think how kind the God will be? So if we decide to transform, there is no need to suffer. We just do the right thing and go back. And that's what it is talking about. Next. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. What is Krishna saying in Bhagavad Gita 8.15? Once you go back to spiritual world, you do not need to come back. Wow. So this place of birth, death, old age, disease, also they call it colloquially Martya Loka. Means here people die. It's like, for them, it's like, oh, how is this possible? I don't want to die. So eternal life. We are soul, we are eternal, but living an eternal, colorful, happy life, that is what spiritual life is. Right? Because they have attained the highest perfection. What is the highest perfection? I have my arm. Now you take this couple of fingers, chop them and leave them there. What value it is now? Nothing. Kachara, fake though. Right? But when they're connected, now some complexity develops. I may spend $1 million to fix the two fingers. So when you are connected with God, you are very valuable. When you're disconnected from God, you are more like a fertilizer. What is the use of? So we need to connect back with God to become valuable again. If we are disconnected, if we are not following the standard expectation from God, even in the life's manual, then we are more like disconnected from God. Our value is nothing more than we are trying to be happy for ourselves. But the moment we connect with God, our happy is unlimited. The value we can produce for others is also unlimited. Prabhupada, who started with $40 from India at the age of 65 plus, got 2 heart attacks on the way. Basically, he has left 50, 60 years back. And recently the temple is coming up, TOVP, Temple of Vedic Planetarium in Bengal. That is costing us hundreds of millions of dollars. So his desire was this temple should be built. So when you are connected with God, your desires and thoughts manifest. Even when you are not physically present, people are listening to you, following a lifestyle, and the Prabhupada gave a lifestyle, Vedic lifestyle. People in Hungary are following it. People in Brazil are following it. People in China are following it. People in Japanese are following it. People in Holland I have seen it. People in Holland, Belgium, Radhadesh, you can look it up. They speak German, they write German, they read German, but they're following Bhagavad Gita in German. And they're following everything to a T. I was like shocked. They don't even know English. But they understand Bhagavad Gita and they follow it. That is the power. The spiritual message does not depend on a language or a culture or a birth or a caste. Anybody can follow it and take full benefit of that. And if they can, we should be able to do that too. Next. All right, so we come to the summary. Yes, we have problems, but good news, we have solutions also. Questions, comments, if not anything else, what are your reflections from today? That means, what did you like today? Okay, and I'll turn the camera on you. Is that okay? Okay. Questions or reflections? What do we want to go? Question, yes.
There was one slide where it was mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that whatever one wishes while at the time of death, he attains that body.
That's the next life. Yeah.
Like depends on karma also.
Yes.
Or is it there
how it comes together?
There are terms and conditions, or like whatever someone wishes during that thought process attains that life, or plus terms and conditions of that.
You have seen Terminator 1? Have you seen Terminator 2? Have you seen Terminator 3? Go watch. Why I say so? At the point of death, our whole life runs like a movie in front of our eyes. That's that Terminator 2, I guess. That robot dies by recreating all the experiences it lived through the movie in last 1 minute, and then it dies. That is like based on Bhagavad Gita. That all your life's movie will run in front of your eyes in a flick of a seconds, and you will see all the prominent scenes in your life which were either super happy or super not happy. And whatever is the most that touch your heart the most, that experience, that's when the movie freezes, and that's your next life. So for example, you buy a nice dog of a very higher-end breed that is very loving in nature, and you enjoy 5-10 years with the dog like crazy, like happy, always throwing frisbee and feeding bones, and buying medical insurance for the dog, and you are flying the dog. Internationally, I have seen people flying the dogs. They're a member of the family, love, lot of fun. And then the dogs have a limited life, 5 years, 10 years. So then they start to crumble and they die also very quickly, and their last days are also very painful, and you go through the depression. And then you see that die one day, the dog dies in front of your eyes. You're traumatized, depressed. Okay, you carry on your life. At the point of your death, when the movie runs, it is possible that the movie will stop on the dog dying in front of you. Or it could be that happy moment with the dog. So basically what has happened, because of how you have lived your life, you have become dog conscious. So whether you want to remember something else, at the last minute you may come and learn Bhagavad Gita and say that, I just yesterday learned Bhagavad Gita. I have to remember God so that I'll go back to God. You theory. In practice, what is running? The movie running is the dog movie. So what is your next life? Yeah, so you just answered your question. If we want to run in Olympics, we need to run every day on the road. If I want to remember God at the point of death, I should be remembering God every day, because death could come any moment. Nobody gives me the notice saying that death is going to come in 3 weeks. Please hurry up and get with your preparations and all that. That doesn't happen. It's like, today I was going in car and tomorrow I get the news. Ganesh was going in a car, right? Things can happen any moment. That's the most certain thing that we don't have. That's the biggest test. Life is a preparation, death is an examination, and nobody gives us the notice for that examination. And it's not like only old people die. Every age people die. So that's why we want to clear our karma every day such that we are ready to die every day. That means people who have assets should also have a will written on what to do with the assets. Otherwise, say for example, today if I die, I am going to remember and say, oh, all these properties, I have not created documents to park it properly, and now I'm thinking of this person and that person, and that if I die remembering my wife, I get a woman's life next life. Simple. So if I want to remember God, I should be attached and detached at the same time. I can have things, but have a plan in place in such a way that every day I don't need to think of it. Or don't leave any pending actions, which are your life bucket items. Finish it. Does that help? Okay, very good. Any other questions? If no questions, and if yes questions, you have my phone number. I was the one who sent the Zoom today. Yes.
So, like, if we already were happy Satchidananda spiritual, but then why did you choose to voluntarily choose unhappy?
Very good question. Very good. Give him a big hand. So, why did we choose? That Atma, Satchidananda, is the expansion of God, and the biggest asset we have as an Atma is free will, freedom. Freedom to believe in what we want to believe in and act accordingly. So that freedom to believe what we want to believe in, because we have that freedom, and God does not want to turn us into a robotic army that is around him. He gives that free will. By default, God will never touch the free will. By that sweet free will, we can choose to stay with God or we can choose to come away from God. That freedom is given. Very small percentage of people exercise the freedom to say, I want to see how it is to be away from God. That's who we are, actually. Right? We are those people who are, let me see. So because we exercise the freedom, we are experiencing. And then why did we leave God? Because we wanted to become as big, as attractive, as powerful as God. And when we came here, we found out I was not alone. The guy sitting next to me also wants to become powerful and beautiful and famous and knowledgeable. So we're competing with each other to rise to the top of the hip. And that is human life. That's why competition is so inherent in everything we do. Right? Does it help? Very nice question.
This one, right? We are coming from some lower birth cycle to this human cycle.
Initially, we come from God. Then there are 8.4 million species of life where we are going round and round.
So, then what then?
Then we don't need to come back. First time we came. That was causeless stupidity. But we have choice to go back.
Different births, right?
So once we come away from God, then we can go through an infinite cycle of 8.4 million species of life, creating karma, destroying karma, creating karma, destroying karma. But if you want to drop the whole karma cycle, then when you are in human life, that is where we take up spiritual life and get out of here. So human life is more like a SeaTac airport. You can take the flight from here. Until then, you are driving around. Very good question. Any other questions? If no questions, then let's catch on reflections. Take the prasadam and continue. Okay. Should we take a break? Bring our plates and then we talk reflections. Is that okay? Okay, let's do that. Okay. That will also give us time to chew on what is the reflection. Yes.
So it's just last week, even got it. Yes. Came up no. So this came that day, then after that.
We'll join you guys. What's your name?
When Dusty.
Sorry?
Dusty.
Rusty, okay. Yours?
Garima.
Okay.
What about you?
Awesome. So, group admin who manages that meet. What's your name?
Rohan.
I know. Rahul.
So,
So,
I'll sit here only, so that I can see everyone. And I'm just preparing to sit there for a photo.
sure.
Thank you.
See that?
I could not as especially good. I got to click a song and everything I didn't get it. Yeah, I think 2 days ago, your phone. So let's all smile as if Vasantham is very nice.
Already.
Sure. it is.
Always.
Big smile. Thank you.
Thank you.
On that side.
Okay, nice.
The biggest smile, please. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Or the review will change my location so that I can see you.
I can see. When we
I got to see you.
just
Okay. Okay, so what are the reflections? We can go from right or left. What do you guys think? Anything is okay? We'll go from the right side. Call out your first name again and just tell us what do you think.
My name is Abhinav. And I like the point that there is a lot of suffering. And it's not